Be still my throbbing, role-playing, loving erection. Persona 5 gameplay trailer was unveiled by the fine motherfucking badass folks at Atlus, and hot damn am I happy about this, because you already know that I love Persona, and if you don't, this is the first time that you've heard me say it, then now you know. Fucking sky's blue, grass is green, Persona's fucking amazing, this gameplay trailer is no exception to that. This looks badass as shit. To begin with, I like the music in the Persona games. Anything that's really jazz influenced or very guitar centric, I dig that kind of music a bunch, and the Persona games end up utilizing that, you know, to its fucking fullest strengths. This trailer definitely did that. The entire time I had this real badass song playing, and I just kept on thinking, I need to download that song, I need to download that song, I want to use that song so fucking bad, because it's a really good song. But we had a very stylish, artsy-fartsy fucking trailer as per usual, because that's kind of their thing. You know, contrasting colors, black, white, and red, and everything's just, it's style, pizzazz. Need more zazz. But this trailer ended up showing off the actual in-game engine gameplay, a lot of characters interacting with one another, and a whole bunch of other shit. So, to begin with, the main character, I feel like, might end up having a little bit more of a colorful personality by comparison to the main protagonist from Persona 3 and 4. Whereas, their personality is essentially, you know, here's all the options, pick what you're going to say to this individual, which will determine your relationship between you and her, him, or whatever. But this seems like it'll still be the same thing, but I feel that they'll have a much more defined personality from the writers. And I'm fine with that. I actually like whenever any kind of an RPG team ends up doing that, because, you know, Silent Protagonist is cool and all, but I like whenever they develop them to at least some kind of degree. And within this, every time that they showed the character running around, especially with the mask on, he reminded me of the Phantom Thief kid from Detective Conan, aka Case Closed, or the from Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon. That's a vibe I got. I don't know if I'm alone on this shit, but I swear to fuck, man, that's like the first thing I kept on thinking, and which had me grinning because, you know, both animes were kind of cool, so, you know, fuck it. Especially Detective Conan, which I've been thinking about a whole lot lately because I've been reading through the Phoenix Wright mangas, so that's a story for a different time. But anyhow, so it seems like he is a big-time thief, and as a matter of fact, it seems like you and all your friends from school are part of like a thieves guild. I could be wrong about that, but that's the impression that I was getting. Everybody's running around with a mask, everybody's like sneaking around doing some kind of crazy shit, which I thought was pretty damn cool. The idea of something like that, because it's very different from past games, and how often do you get to play an RPG series that does some shit like that, you know? That's not a common trait amongst them. It's usually, go save the world, okie dokie. And you're thrust into that position, you have to make sure that the world is in peril. Gaia, the spirit of the earth. And now Captain Planet's gonna be stuck inside my head. But they remind me of a thieves guild. There was two things that they had shown off, which I thought would be kind of unique to this particular Persona game, because I haven't really seen it in other Shin Megami Tensei games, let alone the Persona games, but it seems like they're including stealth elements, and not full-on, really detailed, you know, Metal Gear Solid, Tom Clancy, Splinter Cell, or Thief, or anything like that, but I'm talking, like, just, you know, stealth for the sake of being stealth. Like, there was a part where you're running along these chandeliers and jumping from chandelier to chandelier inside of some ritzy-ass looking, you have too much money, you're literally just pissing out bricks of gold, which, by the way, that has to fucking hurt when you're passing that. People think kidney stones are bad. But this shit right here is just looking down, and you're running around, jumping along, and obviously you weren't meant to be there. And they did show a scene where the main character had went through this window, and he landed, he was all like, yeah, badass stances and shit, and I expected Dante from Devil May Cry to be there with the rose in his mouth and shit, and he was just like, fuck yeah, Olay, and all that other shit. But it's seen that, I'm like, okay, you're a bad motherfucker, I'll admit. But then they had also showed that there was this little tight corridor, and it was all narrow and shit, and you're running and hiding behind stuff, and there's some mindless goon at the end who's all like, derp, 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 who's obviously gonna get fucking brained the minute that you roll up, and you're just like, kapow, and he's all like, ah. Waiting for, like, the main character roll up in, like, Goodfellas and start pistol whipping the shit out of him, I'm like, motherfucker, Persona! And then you go to a velvet room, and he's all like, man, you're covered in a lot of blood and fucking brain matter, and be like, yeah, I just want to go and combine personas together. That's it. Just, I don't know, have, just clean up, put on my bill, my tab. Bam! That's it. But I'd seen that, and it made me wonder how big stealth was going to play a role into the game. They'd also showed the main character going through a really crowded area, which looked a lot like whatever school it's going to be in. And it's amazing, it's like night and day, how busy and detailed this looks by comparison to Persona 3 and Persona, actually all the Persona games. This looked like it was alive and breathing, and it was active and busy, and I thought that was really cool, and it was one of those, it's those subtle little details that makes you feel like you're truly in the world, you're invested in, you are walking around in it. And I like that, and that is something I think is a very important part of it, because you're always in school, but you will see there's only like a couple people strewn about here and there. But considering the hardware that they're always manufacturing the games are and developing them and blah blah blah, but still, they didn't show a lot from like the actual gameplay within the battles and stuff, but they did show a lot of the characters', you know, stances and just how they looked in battle, and all of them were done up in little thief-looking outfits, and just made me think like Catwoman, and eventually will end up showing up or some shit like, which will be pretty badass. Dude, that would be a badass cameo now I'm thinking about it. Fuck, now I want to see that happen so bad. A neat little crossover. The Arkham universe and the Persona universe for no reason whatsoever. If they can do with Persona Q, with Persona 3 and 4, then fuck it. I understand it's two different properties. Fuck you, just let a guy dream. There's probably fanfic out there somewhere, just a brewing. But this does, it looks really fucking fun. They had shown they showed the main character in jail, which I'm assuming at some point in time, either he's having a nightmare about getting caught, or he does actually get caught. And if you remember in the old trailer, they had all this chair set with the ball and chains attached to them. So I'm assuming that they eventually are gonna dealing with maybe another shady organization that, you know, finds out about what's going on. Or I could just be imagining all this shit, which, you know, it's just conjecture. All I can do is assume, make assumptions about it just based off of what they showed off. But I can't wait. There's also this little cat character. It kind of reminded me of Teddy from Persona 4. But this little cat character, but he's like, yay high. And I wondered what role this character played. Nobody was freaking out about the fact that there's this tiny little cat character, unless only they can see this, or just everybody, they're like, oh, we're in Japan. That's our explanation. This is Japan. You're really fucking surprised by that down there? Does fucking Mr. Meowkins? Nah, he's cool. He's cool. Back the fuck off. So, and that's really it. But I want to get this game so bad in the worst possible way. I was excited when I got Persona Q, you know, I was excited to go and get Persona 4 Golden whenever I first got a Vita. That was like the first thing that I wanted to go and get for that. I'm hoping that this ends up doing well, and we get an anime spin-off from it, because I really like their Persona 4 anime. I still have to watch Persona 4 Golden. A lot of people had told me about that, and I had no idea that it was out. And I still have to get around to that. I'm watching The Laughing Salesman at the moment. So, yeah. And that's a real fucked up anime, by the way. You ought to look it up on YouTube. And it's all thanks to GameSack that I'm finding it. So, show some love to those guys, because if it wasn't for them, I would have had no idea about it. It's like, wow, that's kind of neat. Did not even think that I'd end up looking up an anime based off of their channel. Just, fuck, crazy ass stuff. But anyway, Persona 5 will be coming out, and I always end up getting asked about this. If you want to get into Persona games, a couple ways to do that. Get a Vita. You can get all the Persona games that way. And I know, Vita has no games, well, you can get all the Persona games. There you go, that'd be kind of cool. Get a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2, or just a PS2. Or a first generation PlayStation 3, which will play all of them. And get Persona 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which, getting Persona 1 and 2 is going to be expensive, just letting you know that now, so you're better off going and downloading them. If you have a PSP, you can get Persona 1 and 2. It's really good to go and do that, because you can get the other half of Persona 2. We'd only got Eternal Punishment, they have Innocent Sin on there now, so there's always that. Let's see, what else? I don't know, yeah, there's your options. Or emulation, there's always that, but I say support the games that you love. If they're still being actively made, always support them when you can. So, there's that. Anyhow, so I'm excited. So, opinions about this entire thing. Oh, there's a link to it if you want to go directly to it. It's Atlus Japan's trailer for it. But I was also playing it here, so all that stuff. Anyhow, so yay, nay, don't give a fuck. You're just like, oh, no, I just clicked on it for the hell of it. And then so you're talking about a game series I don't know shit about. By the way, you already know I'm fucking grinning ear to ear, and it's gonna be like some Cheshire shit. But anyhow, this is AlphaomegaSin. As always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers. Game the fuck on.